Hey yo, and welcome. Today is WIP Wednesday. A little bit later, but y'all already knew that I said I was going to be doing these probably later in the day because of the heat wave and stuff. I was really hoping to get an air conditioner for the garage then, or like when there were a couple models that were like under 50 that I was like, oh, might as well try this out. Worst come to worst, we could send it upstairs to the kids, and they could have like their own fan if it wasn't that effective. But the AC in the main part of the house had broken over the weekend. My husband called somebody to fix it. They came out and they fixed it, and then it broke less than 12 hours later, and they came out again. And basically the second guy was like, yeah, the first guy misdiagnosed it, and they gave us a discount. I wasn't here, so I don't know exactly how big that discount was and if it is worth it, but I was pissed because I'm like, y'all didn't do it right the first time. Like, but perhaps the discount they gave us was big enough. I don't know. I didn't really want to interrogate my husband about it because he was already like super stressed and stuff. But you know, so we're gonna be in here until things cool down and whatnot. Let's see. Today I'm going to be checking the emails first because I'm in a beta phase. So I need to see if I have any new beta applications or if any of the previous betas have sent in feedback. Once I finish with that, there are, I have the tabs and stuff set up. So there were a couple things that I wanted to do, but the bulk of today will be spent making, like, designing. No, I'm going to do a little bit more research on herbs and spices, and then I'm going to design my own magical herbs and spices. I mainly want to double check the information that I had already gotten from the first article, because never just trust one source. Always look up, always double check the references and stuff. So I am in my husband's chair. I don't know what it is. I, I think I'm too light to make this chair go back the way it does. So it's like pretty rimrod straight. But yeah, I'm gonna make do. I'm also, I don't know if anybody heard when the thing was going because I wasn't muted, but I'm not sure if it auto muted. But either way, my children are doing like their big post summer cleanup. And so because of that, and I think I'm gonna make this a monthly thing. Basically, I'm using Spirit City Lo-Fi, I think is the name of the program on Steam. It lets you set up like sprints, kind of similar to Pomodoro, I think. So I like set them up a 25-minute cleaning sprint, and then the timer automatically goes to like a 15-minute break sprint, and then back to a 25-minute work sprint. And so we've got that set up, and I'm like streaming it to them via Discord. So they're all sitting in a Discord call either on their phone or their computer. I've got that muted, but because I'm listening for like I won't hear the timer noise because I muted I'll just every now and then you'll see me. I'll click over and I'll let them know that the timer shifted. But right now they're in a cleaning sprint because their sprints will be different from our work sprints. So I'm multitasking hosting sprints today. But I'm so proud of the progress that they've already made. We started doing this yesterday, and they send me before pictures of the areas they're going to clean, and then they send me the after pictures. And this way I can like encourage them and also hold them accountable. And it's going great. I might make this kind of a monthly thing for them during the school year, but we're definitely doing it because they start school very soon. And so I want them to have very clean rooms at the beginning of the school year so that, you know, they have a nice area to focus in. And we have, we are now in our first sprint. So, oh, also, I got to keep some laundry going because I need to wash my clothes from the convention that I worked. So yeah, but first sprint's going, so here we go. Hey yo, we are back for break. So, how did everybody do? Give me 1 second. CB is resting today because she got thwacked at work. Some play sword fighting and has a concussion. So I'm responding to her for a sec. Ugh, I'm momming all over the place. Okay. Yeah, so while I was checking oh wait, I need to go to the other screen. There we go. Yeah, so while I was for anybody who came in during the sprint, I am heavily multitasking right now because I'm doing WIP Wednesday, but also the children are doing a deep clean of their rooms on their own because it needs to be done before school starts so that when school starts, you know, they can have a nice, fresh, good area to relax and stuff after school. But because I'm not feeling the greatest, and really they're old enough to at least do the lion's share of the work themselves, what we kind of figured out works really well is I'm streaming Spirit City Lo-Fi. They voted on the sprints. That's 25 minutes for them to clean and then 15 minutes for them to take a break. They don't have to adhere to this. They just have to update me after every break sprint. But for example, my oldest kind of just wanted to get it all done because he had, being the oldest, he's kind of the most skilled at keeping his room pretty. Oh my god. Like, he doesn't keep his room clean daily, but his room no longer gets to the point where it takes a massive amount of time to, you know, tidy it up and stuff. It was basically tidied up before he really started today. So the most work he's had to do today is just, you know, moving the furniture so he can get all the sweeping and stuff done. And then he did the mopping. That was like, he just finished that. So he'll just send me updates whenever, and I check that. He doesn't really care. And then one of my other children, when Spirit City was on sale, since they really like Spirit City, they were like, "Mom, can you buy me my own copy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll get you a copy." So they've been doing their own sprints at their own pace, which is totally fine, you know. Am I muted? Yeah, I'm muted. But yeah, but while I was doing like administrative thingies, checking the emails for the betas and everything, I had backhanded compliment by Katie Chandler, whom is in fact Katie of the Troublemakers, for anybody who's in that writing group. And I got to like the spicy part of the book, and I would hear a child coming downstairs, and I'd have to pause the book because they don't need to be hearing the spicy parts. But then I moved into research, and so now I just have music playing. Hello, Paula. Thank you for saying hi to me and chat. Just Paula just swang by to hit the like or boop the like button. Hey, yo, Bella. Not sure if you'll be able to work, but you wanted to hop in however long. Hey, even if you're just here to like chit chat during the break stream, during the break sprints, I still appreciate you being here. I do not currently have a migraine, but I had a really bad one yesterday, so I'm kind of like got migraine hangover-ish symptoms today. So that's why my brain is braining the way it is. But at least when I'm reading and stuff, I can focus. So it's just the speaking that seems to be an issue. But I hope everybody is doing good. I had canceled Monday because of con crud. It was I have to now reserve the right to cancel any Monday post a convention because I think it's just one of those things where I had to admit minor defeat in that it is better if I simply rest, at least for this year, because I've done so many conventions, and I've been away from home quite a bit more than usual. So then I come home and I miss my children on Mondays. So now I think the Mondays after a convention are going to be reserved for just forcing my children to spend time with me. So yeah, there's that. But for the Sweetest Secret, today I will be mostly focusing on doing some more research for herbs, for the sweetest herbs and spices for both the Sweetest Secret and just so that I have my own bank of magical herbs and spices to use throughout all of my magical worlds. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. And also checking on the laundry, because I just now put my convention laundry into the washer, which honestly, it's only been a couple days. That's not that bad. But the luggage has just been sitting by my side of the bed, and I loathe that. I want to put it back in the closet where it goes so it's not in my way. But yeah. Hey, yo, Ashley. So I know, Bella, you said that you might not be able to work, but what are you up to? And Ashley, what are you up to, or what do you plan to work on? Uh, Bella's actually doing a bit of work on Alina, trying to get the 4th and 5th chapters finished so I can send those over to RP to beta read. Nice. I hope to do some beta reading for RP next Monday is when I'm hoping to start to do that. I'm not planning on getting, oh no, not Monday. In 2 Mondays times, I'm hoping that I will be able to start beta reading. I'm not making any plans to be particularly productive between now and 2 Mondays from now, because I've got a bunch of back to school prep to do. Really, this weekend we're going backpack shopping and we're doing some errands. Probably got to, grocery shop and stuff too. And then next, our school system's so great. Monday is a back to school night, and Tuesday is a back to school night, because my kids are in 2 separate schools right now, so I've got to go to 2 different back to school nights. And then they have their first half day of school, and then after that, Chris and I are going to take the children school supply shopping, because during the back to school nights we will be able to get the list of school supplies. We're not really using the ones at the store anymore, because they were fine for when they were like in the earliest of the grades, but the higher up in grades they go, the less they actually need everything on the list, and then the more teachers kind of ask for like different things, which is fine. The teachers are asking for like specifically what they will need for their class, which is much easier to handle. So then we'll go school supply shopping. Then Chris and I are going to go on a very needed date, because July has been a month. So we need some us time to de-stress, because the man is my soulmate and we've been married for 15 years. And so the best way to like de-stress and reset for life is just to spend quality time with him. So yeah, that's why I will be super busy, and I'm like not planning to get anything productive done once the stream ends today. Also, once the stream ends, I need to go back to reading because I still have 3 audiobooks to finish for the Year of Favorites, and for then I also have, what was his name, versus the Homo sapien agenda? Someone versus the Homo sapien. Simon versus the Homo sapien agenda for a stream for the Nostalgia Train book club tomorrow. So much, so many things. Just a few paragraphs at a time is great. A horror novella. Plotting seems to not be going well. If you want to rubber duck at the chat, you can rubber duck at the chat. That's perfectly fine. Or my Discord server is completely free, and people like to rubber duck at the chat in there, or just ask writing questions, and we usually get at least 1 or 2 people who respond. It's a small server, but those who are active in the server are very enthusiastic and helpful. Same July has been absolutely, yeah, it's whew. So many things. I have potentially 2 more conventions for the rest of the year. 1 at the end of August and 1 at the beginning of December. And the only reason I even consider the one at the beginning of December is because that's right before the holidays. So it's really nice to, have an extra check. And it's at Pigeon Forge, so it's not that far a drive from us. But yeah, other than that, I am done with conventions for the year. And I don't know about the one at the end of August yet because my boss just doesn't know who he has working that one yet. So I imagine after he gets back from his last round of conventions, he will let me know. Okay, can I ask, what is a Gothic setting? How would you describe it? A Gothic setting is very, I would say, vibes and theme oriented. Ashley, you ask me this on the day that my brain is not braining. Worst come to worst, I will consider how to describe it during the sprint and get back to you. But there's definitely a certain vibe to a Gothic setting. I'm going to be such a basic bitch when I say this, but Edgar Allan Poe was really good at setting a Gothic feel. It's all about the diction, the word choice that you use, right? When you describe the setting and the feel that you're going to give the atmosphere. It's not it's so hard to describe. It's not, at least for me at the moment, it's not about a gloomy atmosphere. It's pensive. I would say a Gothic atmosphere, at least in stories, is typically very kind of pensive, dark, but not necessarily foreboding. It's very death as just a neutral concept feel, whereas death is not something negative or looked down on, and where the darkness and the dark concepts or darker feelings and stuff, they are more accepted as a natural and important part of us. Let me know if that at all made sense or didn't, or if you want me to try to expand or rephrase any of that. But that's generally how I would describe a Gothic setting. It's just something where the darkness of the world, or what would usually be perceived as the darkness of the world, is more normalized and kind of the standard vibe, I would say. Bella usually thinks about the scenes from Underworld, the werewolf movie, maybe not the actual story, but the scenes are that to me. I haven't seen the movies in a while, so I may be mistaken. They have a very goth aesthetic. I wouldn't necessarily say a Gothic setting, but a very goth aesthetic. Oh, okay. Kind of a mysterious where darkness is. That's how I would. Again, I'm a basic bitch when I say this, but I don't care. Edgar Allan Poe is like one of the best gothic atmospheric authors that I can think of. Also, like if you want to go there, there's also it's a work sprint, but I just want to finish this thought real quick. I also find there's a difference between like light-hearted gothic and like more mature gothic. I would think Addams Family vibes is really great for like a light-hearted gothic vibe. It's where like it's basically these two like, you know, Edgar Allan Poe and then the Addams Family. I would put it like as like the opposite ends of the spectrum for gothic atmospheres, and then everything else is kind of in between. I'm going to star your next comment, Ashley, and then we will start with that when we come back. Happy sprinting. I would first like to say that I forgot to switch the thing over to say we were on Sprint 2, and thus ask the audience the question, what was your latest read? So, we're just going to put that. I'm going to edit it right quick. There you go. Also, I turned the camera off so one of my children could come speak to me, and then forgot to put it back on. So my bad. I try to always have the camera on when I'm, in the chair working and stuff. So you all got to miss me taking notes and jamming out. I apologize for that deep in my soul. I know. But here we are again for our minute break. And I'm reading, like, basically confirming facts about cinnamon, and I like this article right here because it's going into so much more detail on the science behind why cinnamon works for certain things. Also, apparently there are so many studies being done on cinnamon and its health benefits for, like, cancer and other diseases and stuff. Currently still in animal testing phase, but, like, holy shit. I gotta start putting cinnamon in everything now. Just chomping down that cinnamon toast crunch. Ashley said, I've come up with the plot and characters, just trying to establish setting. Fair enough. Wrote a short story from the perspective of a cemetery / the MC is a setting. Ooh, interesting. That doth have a very gothic feel to it, where the POV character is a cemetery, I will say. I was deep in the Sprint. That's fair. For records, my apologies were mostly facetious. They were being silly. But yeah, so what has everybody's latest read been? I, after almost not reading any novels or anything for the month, have been binging since I got home. And let's see, what have I read? Where's my... Is that really the only sheet I don't have open? Is the thing... There it is. Scrolly, 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 scrolly. So, yeah, since I got home, I finished the Atlas 6, which was such a great... Let me tell you, I love and hate the Year of Favorites Club because... Which I'm calling it a book club. I love and hate them because they introduced me to so many good series. And I'm like, I don't have time to read the series at the moment. I have to go read all the other things. But the Atlas 6 was such an intriguing start to a series. There are 6 POV characters, and it goes between each of them. And the narratives are so biased, and it's so great seeing different characters from each other's perspectives. Like, this one character fucking hates one of the other ones, but then you go into like the character who hates one of the other ones also is very attached to a character that has a crush on that character, and they're basically kind of like, you motherfucking idiot. And it's just, and then you go to like the crush's POV, and it's just, it was a wonderfully written ride, and there's so much magic shenanigans with time travel and space magic and all of that, which usually not my jam. Sort of, I like time things on a very base level, but this one, it was so great. And then the next one I read, A Marvelous Light, again, a great start to a series. This one we've got our two male leads are falling in love with each other, and they're together by the end of the novel. And I am promised a power couple journey as they try to stop our antagonists throughout future books. And I'm like, this is like the best of both worlds for me, because I love a power couple. I like seeing them get together, but I also just want to see them kick ass together as a supportive couple. And I'm like, I'm gonna get both. And then this morning, I read Better Together, which, oh my god, is about two damaged sisters healing and like their family functions, and it like everybody does, like things don't just work, you know, like they're not just like magically fixed. There's like steps, and forgiveness has to kind of be earned, but it's also like for like the angsty person also just gives some forgiveness because it helps them heal, even if they don't necessarily, you know, the other people aren't asking. It's so great. And I fucking cried. I cried twice while reading this book. And for those who know, I don't typically cry at a lot, but my god, this one, Lynn, the bitch, I say lovingly, she knows already. I've already cursed her name. And currently I'm listening to, I said it earlier, but Backhanded Compliments, which is a mostly contemporary, like tennis romance, but also with soulmate marks in it. And I'm like, yes, I fucking love soulmate shit. So I love that that is literally the only fantasy, the only fantastical element in the story is that there are soulmate marks. And I love Katie for that. You wrote 5 short stories today? My god, Ashley, go you. Bella started reading The Alpha's Son, a gay werewolf novel, first in the series, but I paused because one of the characters are going to make a stupid choice that I don't know if I can continue with. I too have occasionally paused a book when I knew a character was going to do something I was not going to like. I always go back though, because I am a sucker, but I relate to that feeling. Read The Girl on the Train. It's such an epic book. Sorry, Ashley read The Girl on the Train. It's such an epic book. And I've asked ChatGPT for 50 verbs. They are my writing prompts. One was lullaby, and I wrote a short horror on that. There's so many possibilities for that. I love that. Bella said it's a really good story, but that teenager, oh, and it's a teenager. Teenagers about to do stupid teenage things. Oh my god. I have so many like friends who are in their late 20s and older who can't read YA anymore because teenagers do dumb things. And they're like, I know it's realistic, but this is why I don't hang out with teenagers. And I'm like, that's very fair. But I will forgive a teenager for doing something stupid so much faster than I will forgive. Well, I will forgive a fictional teenager for doing something stupid so much faster than I will forgive a fictional adult for doing something stupid. But yeah, he's about to do something that he was advised not to do by someone with more experience, just a dumb teenager, slowly realizing young adult isn't my thing. Yeah, it may, for the thing that plays into what I was just saying, basically. Haunted Babe. I cannot convey how much I love this already. Haunted Baby summons the MC's dead husband, who ends up murdering them. Murdering the baby? Or the MC? Who is murdered in this situation? I out of context sent my friend so many studies being done on cinnamon, and all she sent me back was question mark. The wife. Oh, okay. The baby's in on it. I see. So to make sure that I have now processed correctly, a haunted baby summons the MC's dead husband to kill the wife of the dead husband? Whom is the MC? I think the baby is doing the murdering based on my understanding, or the wife is doing the killing. I think the MC is the wife, and the baby has murdered the wife via the dead husband. I was about to do something and my flow has been thrown off. And I no longer remember. But either way, the other books that I have to read. Well, the other books that I would like to read tonight/tomorrow is Ramona Blue and First Time for Everything. And then I also Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, which I have no idea what that means, but I am so interested. It makes more sense when reading it. I mean, I assume so. The MC is the wife. The baby is like a demon who summons his dead dad to stab the MC. Yes. Okay. So we did figure it out. No matter what, it sounds interesting. It does. That was. But yeah, that do sound very intriguing. I enjoy when even in a short form fiction, I enjoy when even the MC is not safe. In long form fiction, I detest it. But for short form, I think it's great. I too have murdered POV characters before. Ashley is good at writing, awful at explaining. I find many writers share this trait. You're used to writing poetry. Short stories are more fun, though. That's fair. I like to write lots of things. I have not written poetry in many decades, though. Sorry, that was a very large yawn. But Ashley, if you haven't already, you can go to my website, which is samanthallnasset.com. It's linked through my link tree down below, and I have a flash fiction and a short story up. The flash fiction definitely sounds like it would be up your alley. It's Till Pizza Do Us Part. But you may also enjoy All That Glitters, which is from a villain's perspective. So Ashley says, when I published my poetry books, my blurbs were awful. To be fair, writing marketing blurbs are a separate skill set from writing creative prose. So there's that. I wrote 12 short stories and 16 flash fictions in 3 weeks. Go you. That is awesome. I have written one short story recently, and I'm doing research to complete. So, all right, we got to go into. I almost clicked the wrong screen. But all right, we're going into our next sprint. I will see y'all on the other side. Hey yo, we are back. That was our third sprint. Which I think makes this breakthrough. Let's check on the chat. Ooh, I got a lot of new stuff. I've been reading things on cinnamon. They're doing a lot of tests on cinnamon to help see if there's a lot of potential there for it helping with a lot of different cancers. And apparently tooth decay. But yes, that's mainly what I did, was read about cinnamon. Let me, okay, like, oh, I'll check after the stream. Awesome, thank you, thank you. What do you put in a blurb? There are actually formulas for blurbs that you can use as a good starting point to teach yourself how to do blurbs, or just if you're unsure. But typically, a blurb is just the summary of the concept of your story with some specific details in there to help differentiate it as like, this is my story, this is what it is about. Short story blurbs are also done differently than like novel blurbs would be done. So for a short story blurb, I would limit it to maybe 1 or 2 sentences, and it's just sort of like the main idea of the, not even necessarily, no, yeah, the main idea of the story, I guess. I had autism / hyperfixation. The way you phrase that, it's like, I had autism, it's gone now, but no, I get what you mean. You went into a hyperfixation. Bella, writing marketing is different than fiction. I will be telling myself this when I publish and on my social media. It is, though. Like they are two very different skill sets, just like writing fan fiction versus writing genre fiction are different skill sets, or writing nonfiction is a different skill set than writing fiction. That's just how life be. Also, I might have to Bella might have to hop off for a little while. Not sure if she'll be back before the stream ends. So if not, she hopes the remaining sprints go well for us. Well, if we see you within the next 35 minutes, cool. If not, hope your night went well. Marketing is the worst part. I know I am an odd Sam out in this, but I enjoy marketing. It's just bragging about myself and my writing, so I enjoy it. Yay, and the whole time I managed to organize all 100 documents into folders. Yes! Oh my god, that's another thing I love doing. Organizing and like the tedious task that they bring me joy and de-stress me. I love them. What is my favorite genre and my least favorite genres to write? Well, I don't particularly have a least. Well, if I did not write for contest, I would not have a least favorite genre, because I would just not write that genre if I did not enjoy it. But I have written for contests before, and thus I do have a genre that I do not enjoy writing, and it is heist. I don't like heist stories. I mean, I love reading them. I love watching them. I love indulging in them. Love me a good shenanigans. However, I don't want to write it. I am not nearly familiar enough with it to be good at writing it. But my favorite genres to write in would be romance and fantasy and horror. Those are my favorite. Your least favorite to write is romance? Then why do you... I'm curious, why do you write romance if you dislike writing it. But yeah, I love writing. I guess human dialogue. I disappeared for a second. I love writing, not necessarily human, because I like to write a lot of non-human things too. I like writing relationship dynamics and just the dynamics of which between people. And with romance, you get a lot of different dynamics. You get like the dynamics between the love interest, the dynamics between the main character and the side character, and they can all just be like really unique. And also there can be like mirrors in the different relationships and stuff, and you can, you know, use certain things to show like foils and everything. And I like writing fantasy and horror / paranormal because I live in the real world, and therefore I like making up shit and just doing whatever I want in the not real worlds. You don't write romance. Tried to put romance in one of my books and cringed myself out. That's fair. It's the classic tropes in romance feel like it's hard to do something original. I mean, I find this complaint a little because that's the same in all genres. All genres have classic tropes, and all genres have classic storytelling elements and everything. And so to do something completely original just does not exist in this era of storytelling. You can do something that's kind of like, you can have a unique take on something, but at the end of the day, when you break the story and the tropes down to like to the brass tacks, it's going to resemble something else. That's just how storytelling is. So I will say that, like, if you just don't like the classic tropes in romance, that's a completely different thing. But doing things original is kind of neat. Love fantasy and horror, controversial, but I like writing literary fiction. I enjoy my brain stop. I have written very little literary fiction, but I did enjoy it, and I do find that I like reading a lot of literary fiction. Not the classic American authors, or not like most of them, like, oh my god, the man who wrote The Grapes of Wrath. Just no. Don't make me read any of that. But like, I like Mark Twain and Edgar Allan Poe, and which they are two of the great American classics. And I like reading a lot of like contemporary literary fiction. So it's not a complaint. I feel like compared to fantasy, where you have a full dance of creativity, I feel romance has an endpoint of similar endpoints of everyone else's story. I'm trying to think of how to formulate my thoughts there. I mean, romance, yes, there will always be a happily ever after, and the couple will always be together at the end. That is the promise of the romance genre, and that is why romance readers come to the romance genre. But romance is also like one of the largest genres in fiction, because you can come like, there's contemporary romance, there's historical romance, there's alternative history romance, there's fantasy romance, there's horror romance, paranormal romance, suspense romance. There's so many different genres and there's so many different subgenres and compound genres of romance that, like, yes, the end is always going to be, and the couple gets together and are happy. But I don't know. I like that. I like that safety net, and that's why I enjoy romance, and that's also part of why romance is one of it, or romance is one of, if not the largest genres, and it is the most successful genre throughout all of book history. I suffer with mental health really bad, love writing about it and putting it into my writing and showing grief in a very human form. I can empathize with that. And I like to read a lot of things like that. I will say, just because we are connected to romance, I have read several romances where they handle grief. And actually, the one I was reading this morning, Better Together, they were like, oh no, that's not a romance. Sorry. No, well, no, I would not call that a romance. That was a different thing with two romantic subplots is how I would classify that, probably. But let me go see if it is classified as a romance. Better Together genre. No, not that one. This is what I get for not putting the author. But I couldn't remember how to spell her first name. It's a young adult contemporary that blends elements of romance, family drama, and magical realism. Okay, so I was right. It's not a romance. It just has romantic subplots. But I have read romances where part of the romantic, like part of the journey that the romantic couple went through was helping each other learn to deal with different different forms of grief and learn to like heal and stuff while not being like the Band-Aid. So that's just, I guess I just have a negative view on romance, so maybe formulating biased views. I mean, yeah, I will say, because romance is the largest genre, and it's the chick genre, right? It's the girl genre. So because of that, it gets a lot of hate, and it gets a lot of people who like shit talk it, or, who like to point out all of the perceived issues and stuff with romance. But like, as a whole, really a lot of those arguments can be turned on other genres too. It's like, it's not a fair comparison and stuff. And sorry, my brain is rebooting every now and then. But yeah, so it's like, it's one thing to be like, I'm just not into romance, and like, that's totally fine and stuff. But to like critique and to like try to hold romance to a higher level of, what's the word I'm looking for? Standard. To try to hold romance to a higher standard than to hold other fictional genres to is different. Did not know that there are so many branches of romance, to be honest. Yeah. Like, not hating, by the way, just a hater of love. Well, actually, you came to potentially the wrong channel for that one. Romance, it's kind of funny. Romance and horror are my two favorite genres. So I'm well versed in both. And I will defend romance to my dying breath. Hey, CB. I guess when I think of romance, I think of Twilight and Romeo and Juliet. That's not even fair. Romeo and Juliet's not a romance. It's a tragedy. It is literally a tragedy. It's not a romance. So like Twilight is a paranormal romance. I think it should have just been a horror, and that she should have killed Edward. But that's me. But Twilight is a romance. I will give you that. But it's not like the poster child for romance. It doesn't even like, I don't think it doesn't follow the standard formula of a contemporary romance. It follows like more the formula of a paranormal romance, which is again a subgenre. But no, Romeo and Juliet is literally a tragedy. It's not a romance. There are two rules of romance. The first rule is that it has to have a happily ever after, or a like promise of a happily ever after for now, because there are some romances that like, oh, they're happy, and then the sequel comes out and they're not happy anymore. The first one is still a romance. So there's that. And the second one is that the plot cannot exist without the romance. If the plot can exist without the romance, then it's a romantic subplot. It's technically not a romance. But yeah, if it doesn't end with the couple being happy together, it's not a romance. It's a tragedy or a love story. True, I think romance is good if you want emotional security in a book. Yeah, exactly. Uh-oh. Yeah. Can you tell I have it? Yeah. See, that's the other thing. A lot of, I know we're on I'm gonna go pause it real quick. That's the other thing. A lot of people who, which I'm not, I hope you don't feel like I'm coming for you. I'm just speaking in general terms because as you have probably guessed, I've handled a lot of these arguments before. A lot of people who like to criticize romance also don't actually read romance. And I find that kind of wild because, like, I try not to criticize genres I don't partake in. So, but like I said, a lot of people like to tell me everything that's wrong with romance, but they don't actually read romance. And I'm like, bruh, that's a little unfair. So what's a classic romance book? May try to read one that I can be converted. To be fair, I am not one that will try, or I am not one that thinks everybody should be converted to romance. I just am a romance enthusiast. But if you like, tell me some of the things you like. I could recommend you some romances that I think you would legitimately like. But that's only if I like know your taste and stuff. So that if you like genuinely want some romantic suggestions, I'll find them. No, I'm just very passionate. It's not you. You worded everything fine. I am just a passionate person. Now you're just okay, cool, awesome. I appreciate that. No. Like I said, it's not you, which is why I tried to like go back and be like, just so you know, it's just an argument I'm used to. All right. So we are gonna go into our last sprint, and like I said, if you want any like romance recommendations, tell me like stuff that you like, and I will try to think of one because there's a lot. All right, but all right, here we go. And that was our final sprint of the night. Who's me? No, not you. Shh. Shh. Sorry, that was my child over Discord. That's what I'm talking to him on. I'm learning so much today about cinnamon. I was able to like go through several articles very quickly because I'm like, yes, okay, I have all of this information. But then I got to an article where it's like, it can improve the health of the colon. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I don't have that on my chart yet. I don't even have a section for the colon. Where am I going to put that? And so I'm like, that's something for not today, Sam, to deal with. But yeah, so those are all things for tomorrow, Sam, to deal with. Or not tomorrow, but probably next week, Sam. She'll handle those issues. We did do it. Woohoo! Also, if you like Graceling, let me know. If you don't like Graceling, also let me know. I like to figure out if I like to figure out if my recommendations helped or did not. How often do I go live? Usually I go live at 7 p.m. Central on Mondays. It's a 3-hour stream, much like this one, where it's 7 to 10. Mondays, I focus on being like kind of social more because I'm a stay-at-home mom primarily. And so Mondays are when I get a lot of my adult interactions in. But we still do sprints most Mondays. We also once a quarter I host the like quarterly party so that we can kind of relax and unwind from dealing with a quarter of the year. In August we'll be doing a birthday bash because my birthday is August 30th and I like having a live stream party for it. Every Wednesday, Wednesdays are usually Wednesdays are 1 to 4 Central, but the AC in my garage is broken and my husband sleeps and uses his computer until about 4, so I'm probably going to be doing this time slot. Well, let's see. World time, buddy. Okay, we're going to do Central. That's my time. And then you said your time is GBT? I don't have matches for that. What country are you in, if you don't mind my asking? Thank you. Generally, if I'm going to cancel a live because I have chronic migraines and some days I just cannot do it, then I will post on my channel that I am canceling a live. Next WIP Wednesday will be on CB's channel. CB Ferrenz, whom should be linked down below, she's my WIP Wednesday buddy. She's just been working a summer camp this month, so she hasn't been able to be here for WIP Wednesday, but she will be returning in August, and we switch up the weeks. England. Okay, I got London, England, if that works. Let's see. All right, so 7 p.m. my time would be 1 a.m. your time. So it would be from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. your time is my Mondays. And then my Wednesdays will, for the moment, be 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. your time. So, for now. Yes, I kind of gathered that, but I was going to finish. So yeah, my Mondays are actually pretty similar to, I would have started an hour ago and finished in 2 hours, if that helps. If I had thought about that, that would have made this a lot easier, but I didn't. So here we are. But yeah, so that's what I do. Okay, so you'll join every now and then. The Wednesdays, you'll definitely try to join. Kate, cool. Like I said, you should go to the description and click CB and follow her, because she does the WIP Wednesday every other Wednesday. Like this week it's on my channel, next week it will be on her channel. I think she'll be hosting next week. I don't know. We take turns hosting it, but we generally host together. All right, well, you have a blessed night as well. I'm going to go ahead and end this a little early so that I can go do mom things. And I will catch you all later. Bye.